For most of us, I believe it's the first time meeting this year. Just turn to your neighbor, wish them a happy new year. I just wish them a happy new year. Thank you. All right. After being told about integrity, I believe it's time we take a commercial break, then we'll get back to the integrity topics. All right. I want to share a story, basically a piece of advice that I wrote for two of my accountant lady friends. I'll tell you about one of them. One of them, she had been in two bad relationships twice. And after she had been in those two bad relationships, she always came to me for advice. So I wrote this because the thing is, when we analyze her financial statements, they prove that she was always making losses. So this time around, I was like, yo, genius, how about we plan in advance before we get into another relationship? Let's plan in advance so that at the end of the day we don't end up having the same results over and over again. So looks like everybody's talking about the Bible, which makes me conclude that we can't have integrity without having the Bible. So I'll use an Old Testament Bible story, the story of Ruth and Boaz, to give out this piece of advice. So basically the title of my poem is Before She Met Him, telling her that before she met the perfect guy, she had to become a perfect girl first. So how about we work on you first before we get to him? So yeah, before she met him. I remember the day you ran to me with tears in your eyes, confused and frustrated, disappointed by the guy you had trusted. You had truly thrown dust in your eyes, scared of what would happen next, wondering whether at all you'd ever dry them. Your eyes, for the second time, you had lowered your guard as you tried to please them, only to realize that not even your body was able to keep him. I remember telling you there's always hope for the living in Christ Jesus alone. You repented and gave your life to Christ, knowing what's done can't be undone. You believed and relying on his healing power to mend your broken heart. Just wasn't sure whether again you thought a guy's smile could warm the cargoes of your heart. Christ's love alone being strong enough to influence your change of heart. You had been friends from childhood, lovebirds admired by everyone in your neighborhood. Just before college, by secondary waves, you were tossed to and fro, yet you still stood, even though the reason for being together was by none of you understood. I guess you got so used to each other. Your childhood lover quickly turned into dead wood. It's crazy how easy it was to say goodbye when none of you thought about separation or its likelihood. I guess you're fed up being alone, so used to having someone around, right? Someone to look into your eyes and tell you more than the stars that shine so bright. Not so sure whether attention was what you badly needed, that by acceptance you terminated his offer. I doubt you even had a future with him in mind when you decided to honor his request. His changed behavior as he tried to grab your attention made you confusing for one of the best. Perhaps it was desperation that made you fall head over heels. I doubt you considered the long run. You were surely asleep at the wheel. It was just a matter of time before everything began falling off. His love and the wheels. You had trusted him with your heart, only to end up in regret. He held it with his careless, clumsy hands and dropped it within seconds. Call it an open secret. I know you never considered your contribution to your own heartbreak. Nevertheless, you decided to stay away for a moment, opting for a break, wishing someone had told you to advance, to drop the accelerator and jam on the brakes. You had proved the same true. You surely crashed that rush. You didn't want to miss out, wanting to be the one on whom they all have a crush. I guess experience has really been a good teacher. Even though he's told you the hard way, I doubt you'd have listened to any preacher. Yet, the way you're about to make your next move makes me doubt you've indeed learned. Does he not dread fire, a child that is bent? Remember, it is not everybody but he who plays with fire that gets bent. Perhaps my few words will cause you to reconsider the road you're about to take. I know I can't make choices for you, but trust me, it's your future that is at stake. You can, however, choose to ignore everything I say. At least I would have tried. Don't be easily carried away by his sweet talk. Remember the first one line. Consider Ruth and Boaz. Pay close attention to what exactly happened before she met him in this free lesson. Just like you, she had lost her lover. Yet this time around, it was death that had done the damage. Just as you are, Ruth was back at square one without a lover. However, her life's transformation before she met him, is the heart of my message. I pray you pay close attention as from the passage a few things we together uncover. Ruth was a young gentle woman, a Moabite woman to be specific, raised and lived among a people that worshipped idols, yet decided to turn to God, the Holy One of Israel to be specific. At a time when all hope was lost and each one of them was being shut, all the doors, she was going to return with her mother-in-law, Naomi, the poor widow to be specific. She was more than decided. She had her mind made up whether or not Naomi was going to provide another son to marry. She was never returning to her people. Idol worship is what she had given up. The absence of a lover was never again going to be the source of her worry. She had found something better. She was never going to give it up. The Holy One of Israel, under whose wings she sought refuge, saw her commitment. She deserved to be treated far much more better than a refugee, and so he decided to meet her at the point of her need, gave her a kinsman redeemer, and included her in the Messiah's genealogy, even though she was a Gentile woman. He owed no Jew no apology. I look at Ruth and I see a reflection. If you can make a choice like the one she made in her desperation, if only you can decide to quit pursuing to be pursued in quest of attention, if you can surrender yourself completely to the Almighty, giving Him all your attention, expecting to have more of Him and this season and nothing else in addition, if you can make up your mind and throw away the bread of laziness, giving yourself entirely to prayer and the reading of the scriptures, pursuing righteousness, if only you can faithfully seek the Holy One of Israel and desire to know Him more, not turning to the pleasures of this dark world, loving this world no more, it's just a matter of time before Boaz notices you at his feet and desires to marry you. What you need is more than just somebody to take you on dates. You're a child no more. Check your calendar, please. The dates agree with me. This may be the last message that I ever give you before I finally leave. And so I want you to take it very seriously. I don't want you to end up in divorce. Take your short ride this time around. No one is forcing you. You surely have a choice. Consider Ruth and what she had done with her life before she met him, is my advice.